right, so my story getting into craft beer goes back to my days in the financial industry. And my wife said, have you ever thought about leaving the banking industry and getting into the brewing industry? I kind of took that as permissions, and my wife and I, we took a trip to the Galapagos, and she said to me on our way back, just as we're landing back in Pearson, do you ever regret not accepting going to brew college at Olds? And I said, yes, every day I regret not going to the college. So at that point I said, I can't let this opportunity pass me by again. So I made the jump, went to Niagara College Brewing School, great program there. Worked at a local brewery in Niagara as well, kind of learned the trade, learned the retail side. Worked at a couple breweries in Toronto as well. Helped open a brewery in Toronto actually, and at that brewery I won 3 commercial brewing awards at the Ontario Craft Brewing Awards in 2017. I saw that Riverhead Brewing was opening up, and I thought this is the perfect time for us to move to Kingston and start brewing great beer here and enjoy the life, the culture that Kingston has to offer. So I guess there's many reasons why I wanted to partner up with Riverhead. One of the main reasons was Kingston, want to be here. I love the culture here, family, and the beer that exists in the city. I thought that Riverhead would be able to contribute contribute to the beer positively and bring a different style. The interview process was something that I've never experienced in the beer industry before, but it was good. I really enjoyed how detailed they were to find the right fit for them from a brewing level, but as well from a characteristic level as well. So I thought that was very good with them.
It all started with me and my best friend James. We're at the time we're just old enough to start drinking beer, and we just got the crazy idea one day to, hey, why don't we just try making our own? So the very first batch we ever made was an extract batch made in his parents' basement, and unfortunately that beer turned out really good. And then ever since it's been, I was hooked. It's just it's been a passion and obsession of mine ever since. Homebrewing allows you the control your ingredients in your final beer. You just can brew beers that you just cannot brew commercially. And it's a fresh product. It hasn't, if you want to brew like a London Porter or like a Scotch 60 shilling, you're brewing a fresh example of that style of beer. It hasn't traveled for months for overseas on a container ship, so by the time it gets here, it's already stale. So it's just being able to brew those world-class examples of beer. And that just led to creating more beer for every batch that I could actually drink. So a lot of that I was sharing with friends and family, and just giving most of it away. And then that's how I ran into Jeff one day as a coworker of mine, and then spread the passion of my enthusiasm for craft beer onto Jeff. And then he liked the beer, and that started discussions on but maybe we can go commercial with this concept instead of giving away my homebrew, selling commercial products. He started off drinking some of the commercial dark beers, and graduated drinking I guess part of my influence into drinking more and more craft beer, and developing that passion and enthusiasm. He'll sell it himself for small batch crafted beers. And
for me, craft beer was about the flavors. It was about introducing more texture and more flavor in the beer. It's a quality product. It has quality ingredients. For me, that meant something. My first experience with homebrewing was with my business partner, Richard. I think it was shortly after he moved to Kingston. We were standing in his garage, and we were looking at his brand new shiny brew house that he had constructed. Richard's a bit of a beer nerd, and so he did up the drawings himself. He had this thing constructed in China and all shipped over here. He built his own control panel for it, all the temperature sensors, all of the. He learned how to weld so that he could piece this thing together. And we're standing there looking at this. It could have been a commercial brew system. And we were doing having a brew day, and we were drinking some of his homebrew, and it just, I said, look, you're brewing a mass quantity of beer here. You're making like 50 liters a batch. And I said, what are you going to do with all of this beer? And he said to me, well, I'm going to give it away. So it's more for him about making the beer than it is about drinking the beer. And so I said, geez, man, 50 liters of beer is a lot of beer to give away. Why did you build this big homebrew system? And he said, well, why not? To their credit, his neighbors are some of our best customers now. And some of those original recipes that were brewed in his garage are the same ones we have on our tap list here. The Irish Red and the Porter, the milk stout that we're releasing very soon. Those are all beers that he did in his garage, and I've been crushing them and loving them, and now my friends and family and the Kingston community is enjoying them. So, well, the business venture wasn't a single conversation. It was a series of conversations. It was probably about 6 months of discussion. Oh geez, if we were to sell it, how would we do it? What beers would we sell? Is there a market for it in Kingston? And a whole bunch of research. And it all kind of culminated one night when we were out with a couple buddies of mine from out of town. We were drinking some beers at the local craft beer bar, and we were just chatting about this crazy idea. And by the end of the night, we had all had enough beer, and we were all sort of excited enough about it that those two folks decided to sign up, and they became investors of the brewery. So for me, Riverhead, picking a brewery name is the most difficult thing, that part of the process for me. There's many sleepless nights trying to think about what we wanted to bring to the market. We knew we wanted quality ingredients, quality beer. We knew that we could make a good quality product, but picking a name that spoke to the community here in Kingston was important to me. And for me, speaking to the St. Lawrence River and being at the headwaters, Kingston being the headwaters of the St. Lawrence River, spoke to Kingston. It's a waterway that's had a lot of historical significance to Kingston, and for us, picking a name that spoke to Kingston was important. I think a lot of our customers are cottage goers and kayakers, canoers, and outdoor enthusiasts. It's about sitting around a campfire with friends drinking beer. So we wanted to pull that imagery in with the name and make it all speak together. Kingston proud, but also outdoor adventure. Well, I think Aaron really has brought the local element in. He's been working with different local suppliers to try and incorporate those ingredients into our beer.
Yeah, as a brewery, you kind of want to keep beer fresh, and that's kind of what craft brewers are known for. So when we do our beer, we like to source local ingredients. Our honey saison, with that we use honey from a local apiary here in Bath, infused the honey directly into the saison, which added a nice sweet element, almost floral element to the beer. We also did the strawberry wheat beer. When you're brewing beer, you really want to add that local element into it.
Well, I think that philosophy makes a lot of sense. A brew house that's built in Canada tends to have better quality welds, better insulation, which translates into better heat distribution, which translates into better beer. So
the only thing good about having a tap room is seeing the customers' expressions as they drink the beer, getting their feedback, kind of listening out of the corner of your ear, or kind of listening to their comments as just to get their feedback. A lot of the customers come in and they're passionate about beer. They're very critical, and they're not afraid to tell you whether they like the beer. And a good thing for us is we get a lot of positive feedback from those passionate craft beer drinkers.
And like at the end of the day, after working really hard in the back and then just walking through the front retail space, go to the car, and someone stops you just to say, "Hey man, I really like your beer." For me, I love it. It's the reason why I brew beer.
And for us, we spend as much time as we can in the brewery, me and Richard, conversing with the customers, talking to them about beer, talking about what we're doing here. For me, that's part of the enjoyment of having a brewery, is being able to experience that and chat with people and enjoy the experience with them. Yeah.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.